What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one, the only Scott Savage. Scott, what's up, buddy?
Oh, today will be forever known as the day before Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. We are one day away now, Scott. How excited are you?
Oh, I'm so very excited. I'm trying to clear my schedule and try and find some time in there because we are always busy.
Absolutely. We have a lot on the go, and what we got a lot on the go right now is where you can find us when we're live over on youtube.com/InsideTheGame. Restream's giving us a bit of problem. Sometimes we're on Twitch, sometimes we're on Kick, and I didn't want to go to either one of those today, so at least we're live on YouTube, Scott. That's all it really kind of matters.
Let us know if we pop up somewhere else unexpected.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe just threw us somewhere else instead. I have no idea. We'll figure that out soon, but there's always some kind of technical difficulty going on over here. It never ends. Just welcome to the show.
It really never ends. It's true.
Yeah, dude, what's going on for today's show, though? Ed Boon teases us once again for Mortal Kombat stuff, and it appears they're leaning to a Mortal Kombat reboot. Didn't we just reboot it with X? Just saying.
I'm confused on that myself.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, wait a second, this seems weird. We also got more Switch 2 news, as details are rumored around as Sharp is working on a new LCD screen. Not LED. Just take note of that. And
yeah, not OLED.
Yeah, no, like this seems weird.
Well, you have to leave some room for some expansions halfway down the life cycle.
And of course, more Assassin's Creed Mirage delays, Scott. But before we get to that, make sure you swing over to our YouTube channel right now, as well as InsideTheGame.ca. When you're there, take a look at today's review as it just went live, Death or Treat. And when you're on YouTube, help us out with a subscribe and a like. It helps us immensely. And of course, if you can't join us when we're live or later on YouTube, hit us up at InsideTheGame.ca and TV streaming networks around the globe. Dude, let's get into today's show, because it's going to be a hot one. The latest Mortal Kombat teaser appears to further hint at plans of a reboot. weird.
I think it all but says it, really.
Yeah, it's just this one strikes me a little odd because I thought we rebooted it when we went to X. I thought that's okay. We're like back in the swing of things. Here we go, starting all over. This is a fresh take. What is happening? Not really sure. It's Tom Ivan over VGC. The latest teaser for the next Mortal Kombat game appears to further suggest that a reboot is on the cards. Quote, "It's almost time," end quote, the official Mortal Kombat Twitter account said in a message accompanied by a video. The video, Scott, shows the second hand of a clock ticking from 9, 10 to 11 before bypassing 12 and jumping straight to 1. Boom! We're starting over, everybody. It's just like, wait a second. But we'll see what happens.
That has to be the meaning behind it. There really is no other possible, right? They could hide it behind Chronica and say it's the same universe, but I think it's a reboot.
Yeah, I think, man, we just rebooted the series. This is where I get a little confused, right? The last franchise reboot was Mortal Kombat 2011. So, which is the 9th mainline entry in NetherRealm's fighting game series. It launched all the way back in 92 and sold over 72 million games, including 12 million copies of the latest mainline release of 2019's Mortal Kombat 11, according to publisher Warner Brothers. Dude, not a bad selling feature. Mortal Kombat kills it. Or finishes it. Either way, we can go.
Finish him.
Yeah, that's right? But in the second video, Ed Boon says, "Thank you to Mortal Kombat fans for 30 years of amazing support," end quote. He then adds, quote, "We're not quite done yet," end quote. Do you think this is the end of Mortal Kombat? Or if we're getting into a reboot, Scott, is this just the beginning?
I think this is a reboot for just the beginning. But if I just to have a hazard a guess, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a delayed release windows.
Oh.
Provide maybe more time for NetherRealms to focus on other things, perhaps. Maybe we'll see Injustice eventually.
Yeah. A little surprised we don't see Injustice 3, really. Right? Because that's where it's been going back and forth. And this is when you kind of get into Injustice 3. Brad joins us over on YouTube and says, played the MK DLC and felt that it was a miss. Bring back Marvel. Dude, they never did a Marvel game, but they did do a DC versus MK. Yes, you're right there, Brad. But it is interesting either way. I'm a massive Mortal Kombat fan. I've always loved that franchise. And, dude, to think we're getting into another reboot, just it kind of surprises me. But yeah, when you talk about Chronica, right, and what she's able to do, rewind time, is that how it leads in with, what do you call it now? What do we call the next Mortal Kombat game? Not 12, because it just bypassed 12, went straight to 1. Do we just call it Mortal Kombat? You think they're starting from ground zero now? We're getting into this new gen or current gen, right? So we started ground zero for the new gen, Scott, and then move forward. Is that the plan?
That would make sense, actually. Yeah, I could see that happening. Or I'm thinking maybe this is just to provide some sort of spin-off series. Because they've done the other Mortal Kombat's Legacy and other ones that I didn't play very much, the 3-dimensional adventure game kind of stuff. I'm thinking maybe they'll just try and work that in, and this is a continuation of the main line, but that's why it's being reset number-wise. There's a whole lot of questions up in the air.
I hope to get some answers here soon. I
hope they don't.
Go ahead.
I hope they don't just change up the characters on us, and that's the kind of the excuse for a redo. I don't want to see our characters change too much. I'm okay with some of them, but Scorpion will always be Scorpion. Sub-Zero will always be Sub-Zero. You can't change those, not to me.
Yeah, and their story has been such a long lineage in the Mortal Kombat franchise. It'd be hard to change that at all, really.
Well,
right?
They could do Quan Chi has changed them for some reason or something. Man. It could work really easily.
Well, so in Mortal Kombat 11, their persona got into this more like an evil side, right? They got infected in a sense, and then they get this over. I was just like, you're kind of stretching it a little thin for me when it came to that, even though I played an absolute ton of Mortal Kombat 11. But it was just another side of it that I didn't really care for, really, when it came to that portion of the story, that they almost turned them into like a zombie. Right?
Yeah, it was like an undead thing, but that didn't work with the Lin Kuei, I don't think. So
I don't know. Dude, I love Mortal Kombat. I always find it fascinating to see what next finishing move they can create and get us into and enjoy. And
new characters.
Well, so go ahead.
Do you have any idea for any sort of guest characters? Because that's kind of what I've been thinking about after seeing Jason.
They should bring in Assassin's Creed somehow. An Assassin's Creed character, I think, would be a cool addition. Talk to Ubisoft.
Ivor just sounds the horn at the beginning of the round. I'm down with that.
But it has to have, like, can you get away? Can you make a Mortal Kombat, Scott, without, if we're going for a complete reboot, right? They start this, what if they start from ground zero? There is no Scorpion, there is no Raiden, there is no Sub-Zero. It is a complete fresh reboot of the franchise altogether.
Is there other places they could bring it in the timeline, perhaps, where Shinnok before the events of Mortal Kombat 1? I'm not sure if the storyline discounts that, but
I don't know. Northern Nerdcast says, thoughts on Carl Urban being rumored for Johnny Cage and MK2 movie? I think he might be a good fit, to be honest. I think it might be pretty cool. I haven't looked
too much into that, actually. I remember seeing that come to light, though.
I did see that. He is rumored right now, but Johnny Cage is another starring character. So did they line something up with the new movie that's coming around? Is that why they're rebooting the franchise? Or do we get into a whole new fresh batch of characters and completely, like, these are a brand new story of the Mortal Kombat competition, right? And this is their telling of Scorpion Jr. or whatever we get into.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
Can you imagine? Oh, man. I don't know. I trust NetherRealm, though. I always have. I love that studio and what they make over there. But again, getting back into the fact that, where's Injustice 3? But because I think the difference being, Scott, is Mortal Kombat has a pedigree and a name behind it already that's easier to sell than it is with Injustice. Injustice is known within the fighting community, but everybody knows Mortal Kombat. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you just mentioned Mortal Kombat and like, oh, I played that as a kid.
It's kind of a secondary and aside, like Pokken. That's kind of something I thought about. You remember that game, or
no?
Did it flash and gone?
I have no. What game is that?
With Pokken, it was a Pokemon Tekken game, but it was strange. It did its own thing, and it was interesting. But you have a support character. It did a lot of things that I didn't like in a fighting game.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I played a few fighting games I haven't liked in my time. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Oh, Bloody Roar. Where's the remaster or the reboot of Bloody Roar?
Oh, there's so many games. So many fighting games. Dude, let's get into Nintendo as there's some new rumors going around as Sharp is making LCD displays for a new console as Switch successor speculation mounts. Tom Ivan over at VGC once again. Sharp has announced that it's making LCD display for a new gaming console as speculation amounts for Nintendo is gearing up for a launch of a successor for the Switch. In an earnings call on Thursday, Sharp CEO Robert Wu said the Japanese electronics company will launch pilot LCD panel production lines for the new device during a fiscal year ending in March 2024. Quote, I can't comment on any details regarding specific customers, but as to a new gaming console, we've been involved in its R&D stage, end quote. He told analysts. Scott, thoughts on it being LCD instead of, like you said, the OLED, or then just an LED in general?
I think LCD is fairly standard for tech-wise, so it's not necessarily a cheapening. That was kind of what my comment would have suggested earlier. It leaves the opportunity for improvements down the line, and I only say that because we've seen that with the Switch. I believe there's been 2, or was it 3 different models of the Switch?
Man, you got the Switch, you got the Switch Lite, you got the OLED Switch. So there's 3 models?
Was there a boosted OLED with a higher, I think it had a stronger chip in it or something at the same time, but I'm wondering if that's kind of an indication that this could be Nintendo, but I think it's more of an indication that it could be something else entirely, not the big 3.
Well, there is
something comes to memory, and this is something that I cannot recall. Oh, that would be a good one.
My heart. Skip the beat, Scott.
I'm on a quest to remember this, and maybe you can help me, actually.
All right.
There's an Android tablet thing that I had bought, and it loosely resembled a Switch here. It was, just the idea that one hand here in the screen, and it had the same kind of buttons. Anyways, this thing doesn't exist anymore, not in my life, and it just disappeared one day. But I think of that when I read something like this, an LCD display. Yeah. It could be into any number of those kind of devices that are Android operated systems. You load up your own games and what have you. I was playing Fortnite on mine.
Fair enough. The Vita itself actually had a couple different models. It came out with the OLED. That's the original. They came out swinging, and then they actually went back a little bit with an LCD display, making the product a little bit cheaper to purchase and then get into play. But here we are thinking maybe. Well, we take a look at was it the Asus ROG? Is that how they're calling that or whatever they're saying there, right? So there is that just released that is coming out in the wild. But are we getting a whole other dude? Is this Microsoft? Is this PlayStation? Will we see a Vita 2? Like, yo, will we get a? I don't think we will. I really don't. As much as I want to, I think it kind of lines up where Nintendo is at, really, because they do need a screen. They are looking to launch the Switch 2, whatever that might be. And as Nintendo does, is that they stay behind the times like everybody else. When it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, they're already generation or two behind. So they're not looking for that powerhouse yet when they launch their next product, which is still continually blows me away.
I'm wondering if they're going to... Is an LCD display even an indication of a Switch or Nintendo at all? Do we know that the Switch is going to be a handheld? The Switch 2, that is. Going to be a handheld. I suppose you wouldn't call it a Switch if that were the case, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think it is fair to assume... Never assume, but you know what I mean. Assume that this is probably lining up for the Switch. I think Nintendo will go into a Switch 2. I don't think they'll get us. I don't think they'll give us like a 64 console or a GameCube console anymore. I think they're going to stay mobile because it works.
Well, even the Wii U had a tablet as well, so there is precedent for that. Yeah, I still got my Wii U. I got a new charger for the tablet a couple weeks ago, actually. If we don't keep the history alive, nobody will.
I guess, yeah. Well, maybe there's a reason though. Scott, let's move over as we're still questioning what Nintendo is always up to. But until then, let's figure out what Assassin's Creed is doing. As Assassin's Creed Mirage release date murmurs now suggest it's delayed internally to October 2023. Still this year, Scott. Still this year. Here's the thing I'm liking so far about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Dude, there's never once been an official release date. Not once. Not once.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So with that, then, we're able to go, well, we get it when we get it, because we don't really know. They haven't really told us. So everything has just been suggested that it was coming in summer.
Yeah, it was certainly suggested August. And I believe there's something in the article a little further down that goes into that. But there was no date, and I don't think it was ever acknowledged officially in an official capacity. Nope,
not at all, right? So this is Michael over at PSU. Assassin's Creed Mirage rumor merry-go-round shows no signs of stopping. Dude, nicely set up, Michael. Well done. As a new reported from leaker Tom Henderson now claims that the upcoming stealth title has been pushed into October 2023. Ubisoft hasn't announced anything official about the game's release date yet, but it's been hotly tipped to turn up in August. Was the initial fact that we thought we were going to get it this summer, which, I am ready for Mirage. There's
a date on my mind. Is there something do you recall something releasing on the 11th of August? Because I thought that was Mirage, perhaps, but I might be confusing it now with something.
Yeah, there was nothing official for Mirage, so I'm not sure what dude. This game's releasing every day. It's ridiculous.
That's my problem.
It's hard to keep up, right? In fact, it was only back in late March that Henderson again claimed that the game was out that month, although at the time he was dispelling a rumor that was pushed into 2024. Regardless, Assassin's Creed Mirage has now been delayed internally by a couple of months, as Henderson noted on Twitter. Once again, Scott, we're getting into Basim's story. Not sure when we're actually going to get it. I would like it for the summer, but it doesn't sound like it is. We are getting the Ubisoft Forward on June 12th, which I thought would be lining up more to show of Basim's story and what that's going to look like, obviously coming off of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and then moving us over into Mirage. Would we be getting that this summer? Which my fingers are crossed. I really wanted. I've now been so far out of playing any Assassin's Creed title. There hasn't been something that kind of hits that sweet spot for me. So Mirage was what I'm looking forward to. But if I got to wait till October, dude, October is like, we're getting into that hot window once again. Like, not that we slow down around here by any means, but then it's just bang, 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 bang. There's so many games when you get into that holiday stretch of what are you playing now, right?
Oh, that's funny because I was going to open up with a mention of Horizon. because of the release tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is the way that goes. By the time we get to October, however, there's going to be a huge amount of releases by everybody all over again.
Yep.
I can't wait for Assassin's Creed, however, and I don't think anything's going to, unless Prince of Persia miraculously dropped ahead of time, I don't think there's anything that's going to take my attention away.
Yeah. No. Prince of Persia has been delayed, dude. I'm not sure if we'll ever see that or if it'll get canceled. I think that's my other concern.
It was put in the back storage room somewhere, I think was the last I'd heard about it.
So do you think we'll see Skull and Bones on June 12th for the Ubisoft Forward?
Possible. I think we're going to see a release date for Mirage, however. I think that'll be a little bit further on. We're almost there now, but maybe they'll have a little bit more internal conversation and be able to show, because like you say, we have this character, we got a bridge. How do we get to Mirage? Where did this come from? Why are we here?
Yeah, I think it leads before Basim's story into Valhalla. So it's before that. So
you would know much more than I about him in that case.
Dude, I cannot wait. We get that old school feel of like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. Yo, I'm down for that.
Do they talk about him ending a sultanate or something?
Dude, he's heavily in that story, intertwined into Valhalla. There's another one on your backlog. You should go finish. Scott, let's get into Sony has canceled an unannounced sci-fi shooter. It's claimed. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. It's been claimed that Sony has canceled an unannounced sci-fi shooter at Final Strike Games that was in development for 3 years. The claim comes from Twitter user Bogarded 220. That doesn't matter. Who provided Insider Gaming with the 222? Who provided Insider Gaming with evidence that the claims from its ex-developer at the studio under the condition that the source remains anonymous. It was said that the game was 2 years away from its release, with the intention being to release the game on PlayStation 5 and PC. According to screenshots that were provided, which we do not have, Final Strike Games had a 40% reduction in headcount because of the canceled project. Scott, Final Strike Games was first founded in 2016 and released Rocket Arena, which didn't really take off. Actually. Right? That's the thing.
Yeah, I had just pulled up their website here because Final Strike Games, I'm trying to think, this isn't a Resistance game canceled. That's out of Insomniac. This is different, but their focus is on multiplayer, so that kind of...
They're currently working on an unannounced AAA PvP game, and now Sony's scrapped it. Sony's on the binge lately of not only closing studios, but scrapping games altogether, Scott. Makes me a little nervous.
Makes me worried more so for PSVR 2.
Definitely worried for PSVR 2. I've been worried since day one.
Yeah, actually. I think you were pretty open about that with us.
Yeah, no, definitely concerned.
If there's a cheapening of that hardware, then I'm concerned. Like, that's the nail in the coffin. If they were to cheapen out to an LCD instead of their ridiculously high resolution.
Some of the games I've played over there look incredible, and then I go to my Quest 2 and I'm like, whoa, this is tough, yeah. Right? I feel like it's the leap forward from PSVR to PSVR 2, or even now Quest 2 to PSVR 2. Dude, it's like going from PS1 to PS2, right? Like, it was that huge leap forward, and it is. The technology's there. It looks great, but when it comes to the unit, there's nothing to play.
Because I played your PSVR 1 once upon a time, years and years ago, and I remember it having that kind of screen door effect. It didn't bother me, but I saw it. And then I got my Rift S, my Meta. I'm going to call it a Rift S. That's what it says on the box.
Yep, it is.
But that looked so much better. And to think that it's progressed even further from that point. The last time I played it was in 2020.
Dude, it'll blow your mind. Like, it is super cool.
I'm hoping my mind can handle it. I mean, that's another issue. But
I got my fingers crossed that they're able to pull that out. But this is definitely disappointing to see that they've canceled what a AAA, which I'm assuming is a games of service experience, right? They talked about how they got 10 to 13 of these games in development, and it looks like we just lost one. So that's a little concerning.
It does make sense. They're going to want to thin it out, see what works, what doesn't. So I think a bit of that is natural. Maybe not cause for concern.
Hopefully it doesn't affect the studio too much. I think that's the other thing, right? But they have lost some people. Yeah, it does. It affects the studio internally, mentally, physically, like in so many other forms that hopefully they're able to bounce back and figure out what their next project is. But when you are 3 years in and all of a sudden it's just gone, like, oh man, all that work, all that effort, right? Just, craps. But clearly something wasn't working. So hopefully they can figure out what that was and then apply it to make sure it works on the next project. But Scott, we do have a couple updates and releases for today. What do we have?
We have a mega update for PUBG. This is the update 23.2 for PUBG Battlegrounds. And there's a huge amount of stuff in this. Okay, here's what you need to know about the new recall system. The new recall system has been designed to alleviate the sense of frustration felt upon death during team play. Okay, I had concerns for a moment there. By acquiring the blue chip from a defeated ally's death box, you can help your teammate rejoin the match. With blue chip towers scattered throughout the map and a new blue chip transmitter, recalling teammates has never been easier. A clan integration is also packed with exciting new features, adds a fresh and engaging layer to the PUBG Battlegrounds. That's a redundant name. Gameplay experience with a new progression system. Clan levels, collaborating with your clan members offers a range of benefits and rewards, as well as the ability to access your own other players' clan tags, and more. Are you going back?
Yeah, I'm going back in.
I thought so. I'm gonna have to download it again.
Yeah, I gotta re-download
it. We do have two full releases, however, today, and that is the aforementioned Death or Treat. That's on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. We also have our review up now. And Marvel's Midnight Suns releases on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One today.
Dude, that one's a divisive one. I've seen people actually love it, and then some of us not.
I tried it, but it just didn't really.
Yeah,
I think I'm over superheroes. That's kind of it.
Yeah, it either hits or it doesn't, right? But yeah, getting back to PUBG, dude, I'm back in. It's just it's the one I always return to, right? It is one of the OGs, obviously, and I've had so much fun playing that game. And then sniping with the Car 98 is just like nothing else.
Oh, so, yeah. No, nothing feels quite as good as making a headshot on that game.
It's clean, right? It just feels clean, especially when you nail it properly. Woo, dude. My longest one was like over 400 meters away. It was fantastic, yeah. But just like that, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that is the one and only Scott Savage. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you inside the game.